So now hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we are not in MSFS. Instead, I had an idea. What if, since I actually just got, just yesterday, the 777 from PMDG for MSFS 2020 and 2024, I thought, the flight gear has the Boeing 777 as well. Why don't we compare? So that's exactly what we're gonna do. So let's go ahead and, okay, for some reason this thing needs another update. Hold on, when did I update this last? When did I update this thing last? I just updated it like a week ago. It's already come out with another update. Man, this thing comes out with more updates than the freaking, oh, I don't know. PMDG 737 or maybe AnyBuilds A350. Like, bro, come on. What's this thing doing taking its frickin' sweet odd time? You know what? I'll wait for you. Oh, stupid. This is the closest thing we have to DA62. Don't know why it's free in here, yet it's not free in MSFS. It's the exact same thing as the DA62, just with like a shortened fuselage, that's it. Still up down DA40, yeah. Daher TBM 930, obviously you know how to fly that, turboprop. Concorde, kind of a meh kind of model, 2D cockpit, but decent. This is actually the only flight sim that I know of that I can actually properly fly. The Q400, that's free. X-Plane, I don't know about that, but yeah, all I'm gonna say about that one is that X-Plane is just not gonna run on my computer right now. Reason? That's why. I'm not installing it on the... Wait, what? Hold on. Okay, I'm being honest here. How the hell did this end up like that? That should not be like that. No, I'm dead serious. How the hell did this end up so full already? Something is clogging up my storage, and I will find out what the hell it is, and I'll delete it. Because I am seriously getting triggered that I don't have enough storage already. Fine, I'll have to find out what these are later. Let's see. Oh, that's probably this. Yeah. Alright, so, stepping aside from that, have the Boeing 787-8. Not that many liveries, only Continental, which doesn't exist anymore, like I said. We have the Boeing 707. More used to starting this up than an MSFS, but both of them still work. Low poly 767 model, and if I'm being honest, these two aircraft, the 757 and the 767, had the exact same effing cockpit. Like, if you don't believe me, I'll load into it right now. And I know I'm taking a little bit of a side quest here, but I gotta crack at least like one point or joke in this video. And I also have to make it like less than like an hour again. So we'll try and do that. Come on. Come on. This thing takes so long to load sometimes. Alright, so here we are. 757. So this is the exterior. Why is it United? I added Delta. That's better. So, this is the 757. Actually kind of a good model for what you get. Yeah, this thing has like kind of meh flight dynamics, but overall good. Close to the 777. in fact, you can actually also open and close the windows, which is kind of cool. The EFP doesn't work, obviously. And what the actual fridge are these throttles? What the fridge is that? And I mean, okay, cool. We have like a little flight engineer station, I guess, right there. But yeah, overall easy start procedure in that. Obviously, circuit breakers don't work, but yes, the 757. Now, if we go into I don't know why that blacked out. Oh, there we go. Now, if we go into the 767, boy, is this plane way more unrealistic than the other one. I swear, someone basically took a 767-300 model and straight up slapped it right into the cockpit. Yeah, look, you can even see the outlines of the cockpit windows right here. Yeah, look. This is still a 757 cockpit. This is the exact same cockpit we loaded into like just a minute ago. Don't believe me? Let's try and see the battery. What happens when we turn the battery on? Okay, I think you may have actually coded the MCDU. Okay, you know what? I was expecting for like a cheap thing like this that has like 2D buttons. It pretty much wouldn't work. Shut up, flight gear. Okay, actually that's kind of cool. I have to try that in 757 one time. But yeah. But if we go on to the exterior flight model, it's a freaking 767. Like, what the fridge? I doubt it looks like this in real life. If it does, I will crash out. This thing looks like a freaking knockoff. It looks like a 757, but he had a bit too much McDonald's. That's what it looks like, if I'm being honest. I'm being dead serious. It looks like a 757 that had too much McDonald's. That's all it looks like. This thing, I swear, is probably one of the most odd planes ever. But anyway, back to what we were actually here for. We're going to go ahead and select the 777-300ER, since that's the one I have. I'm going to go and select flight. Oh yeah, by the way, anyone who has flight gear out here, if you need like a quality A320, I recommend downloading this one. Very good, by the way. Comes with a lot of different aircrafts and stuff, but yeah. And the window went black again. Come on, bro. I just fixed this like a... Okay, there we go. We're back. Let's do this. So yeah, by far on flight gear, this is one of my favorite aircraft. And one of my favorite airliners in real life too, because this thing is probably one of the most, if not the most powerful modern day airliner ever to be built, besides the Tu-144 and Concorde. This thing is an absolute monster, and if you guys don't believe me when I'm saying that, we'll see what happens when we take this thing for a spin. And you know what? I was thinking about not doing Air Canada, but that is the livery I built my first papercraft 777 in, so we'll use it. So anyway, let's get this thing started as per usual. Battery, APU start. Okay, the screens, I like this one better because the screens come on way more quickly. This makes for a quicker startup time, which I very much like. I'm gonna get the hydraulic pressure on. Bleed air is already on. seatbelt signs, no smoking. Don't want anyone dying of iron and metal in their intestines. Because my grandfather's probably already doing that right now, and I kind of don't like it. And just like that, we can already start the engines. And I know the fan blades look 2D, that's because they probably are, but engine cones aren't. And flip that on just like that. So yeah, for like a quality plane that's like this, I recommend getting this one. And we'll just do a quick flight to we'll do a quick flight to Oakland. And yep, IRS is already aligned. Route FO. And we're gonna do that to, oh wait, no. KOAK, not KSMF. And we're gonna do ACA 5697. Perfect. Runway, we're gonna take off from 10 right. Activate and execute. Yep, there we go. So we have just reached that right there, and we do not need window heat because it is like probably 100. Hold on, how hot is it outside right now? It is it is 75 degrees outside right now, but I probably reckon it's gonna get a bit hotter, so we don't need anyone burning their hands on the windows already. Sun is probably already enough window heat as it is. Okay. Yep. Alright, APU's off. Let's go. Let's do this. So now what we're gonna do is hello? Hello? Index, ident. There we go. Yeah, that's why I like this thing. The GE90-115B is on it, which is probably which is actually the biggest, not the biggest, but the most powerful engine ever built at all. And alright, we have the single engine auto throttle arms. Cool. So what we're gonna do is actually we're gonna go ahead and actually do it. Does this work? No, it doesn't. I was about to try using my Boeing throttles on it, but my Boeing throttle autopilot system on it, but no, it doesn't want to work. So we're just going to use by mouse. I'm going to set this to 260. I'm going to set this to intercept that. And we're going to set the altitude to around like 2,000 feet. It's just gonna be a super short flight, so alright, yeah, let's do this. So parking brake off. Oh, that's the parking brake. Yeah, I haven't played Flight Guard in quite a while on this PC, so I probably still have to change that keybind. And why aren't the throttles moving? Oh, they are moving. So they are moving. I just have to push them forward a bit more. Let me guess. It's probably tied to this stupid Airbus one, isn't it? I don't know. And I have to use my yoke to brake, which is kind of stupid. It's so annoying. Boeing 1 and 2. Alright, we'll set that to the rudder. Yoke. Alright, nothing set to rudder. Alright, let's do this. So yeah, this thing has kind of realistic sounds. Like them, by the way. But we'll see how MSFS performs in a bit. Now, one thing I noticed that this one doesn't have, I don't know if this is real or not on the actual 777, but the rear wheels, these like the last two rear wheels right here, actually turn. So I don't know if that's a real thing on the actual 777 or not, or if PMDG just screwed that up or not. But yeah. So let me know down in the comments below if that's actually a real thing, or if PMDG screwed that up. Because usually I thought the only plane that had that were the 747 and the AN225, because the 747 had middle turning landing gear, so and the AN225 had rear turning landing gear as well as dual nose landing gear turning. So yeah. And I'm probably gonna turn the volume up on the desktop audio switch on my OBS right now, because I want you guys to hear these engines properly. So also what we're gonna do is arm the auto throttle. And this does like to drift too for some reason. I don't know why, but it just does. But luckily I know how to control that. And no, we're not gonna be trying to become ACA 143 this video. I'd only do that in the 767. Right now I'm not flying, so anyway, let's go ahead and go toga mode. So full power into the two GE90 engines, and yes, listen to that engine buzz. Sorry i711, but this kind of beats the 757, not gonna lie. The engine buzz kind of beats the 757, to be honest, if I'm being for real. And just like that, we can already rotate. We can actually rotate quite a while ago, actually. And I'm probably gonna do a return flight, probably just because we have enough time. And go and retract the gear. Shut up, 777. I'm not over speeding you. So now we're gonna make our turn. And we'll let auto throttle handle the throttle part, flight director, and autopilot. Set that to LNAV, and boom, there we have it. And this plane will now fly itself. So what I'm actually gonna try and do is hold on, let me see if I can get the tower. Okay, no, it's just putting me back at this one. No. Oh, actually, that's a cool view. Thought I'd point that at the engine. I mean, that's just a static, like, black image. So, what I'm actually gonna try and do is land right there. Yeah. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try landing there first, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off from here and then land there. It's actually quite easy if I'm being honest. So should be cakewalk if I'm being completely for real with you guys. Kill the auto throttle. Also kill LNAV, and go ahead and start following our route down to the airport. So that's our destination runway right there. I'm not using that one because I just don't feel like it. This one, I know this thing can handle some pretty short runways, so I'm just gonna use this one because the engine power in this thing is absurd. Almost already 20 minutes. How? This feels like it's been like only 10 or 7 minutes, bro. It's basically only been like 7 minutes. How is it already 20? I get that was like a quick 757 side quest or something, but sheesh. Didn't have to take that long time to do. And yes, okay, actually that's kind of some nice detail for the landing gear. For a budget flight sim like this that's completely free, that's some pretty damn nice landing gear. Like, bro, look, they even got the freaking cords. They even got the cords. That's kind of nice. That's kind of sweet, if I'm being honest. So yeah. This video might end up coming after longer than 40 minutes after all, I guess. So the trick here to actually getting this thing to stop fairly quickly on super short runways is actually what I like to do. Forgot we don't have any spoiler access. So we're gonna arm the spoilers. Push the throttle up a bit. What I actually like to do is keep the plane at like 120 or so knots. Like 120 something knots. Something around there. So I can actually kind of like just stall it onto the runway, but at the same time have power when I land, so it kind of smoothens it out. So
100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
yes, very buttery indeed. If I go max braking on this thing, this thing is a monster. Yeah. We barely used any of that runway after full touchdown, and we already came to a mostly complete stop, which is kind of absurd. And so now we're going to attempt to take off from runway, I think 33 is it? I'm not sure. And we're actually also going to try and do this with full flaps. Because to me, if it's a 777 can land on a general aviation length runway, then if the 777 can land on this, then a 777 can operate out of some of the shortest runways and smallest airports that can actually have big parking spaces. And we're drifting. Let's try and go and reverse ourselves. Okay, and stop. And we can go and put the engines to full power again. And yeah, plane is a little bit confused why the flaps at full, but no worries. And wait, yeah, that's how much runway we have left. We lifted off right here. Yeah, right on that mark right there, we lifted off. That's how much runway we used. Like I said, this thing is a literal beast. And I still don't know how Mr. Beast even got his hands on a flight on one of these bad boys. As a private jet, for that sake. Which is kind of wild, but cool. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna slowly decrease the throttle a bit. I am making this a bit, I am time warping because I need to make this video fast. So, yeah.
1,000.
Okay, so I have the runway in sight now.
Quick brake. Full up. 400.
So now what I'm gonna do is line up.
Minimum. 200. Quick brake. Full up. Full up. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
Yeah, that's why pilots are scared to use go-around thrust. This thing can just, if you're like feet above the water or something, this thing can climb out of there no problem. Okay, we're a bit off center of the runway at all, but no biggie. Probably gonna be a bit of a firm landing. And max braking. Yeah, like I said, touchdown was right about there. Used a bit more runway length than we did on takeoff, but yeah. If you have a firm landing, like a bit of a firm landing, then yeah, you can actually get this thing down pretty quick. Almost 30 minutes of recording. Shh. God damn. And holy crap, why is the trim set so high? Why is the trim set so fucking high? Why is the hell is the trim set so high? Well, either way, it's time to go ahead and test MSFS now. So what I'm probably gonna do first, so that was the 777 flight gear, pretty awesome performance. Now we're gonna go ahead and launch MSFS, which is probably gonna take quite a bit. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to cut this part of the video out when I edit it. Alright then, well, looks like we're in MSFS finally. So here we are in the 777-300ER. And just because I have a Delta livery on this one, I'll use it. For this one, we're going to use KLHM, which is the Delta Mach main airport, I guess. So, yeah. So, we're going to set this to 12 p.m. So, same time as flight gear. And so, like I said, this one has a bit more of a longer wait time for the screens to boot up, like 2 minutes. I know it might not seem that long, but for fast operations, it kind of does. It is kind of long. So having the screens able to be booted up super quickly on, like in the A320, for example, or the A350, when the ground power isn't like instantly connected, then that's kind of like, it's actually kind of like quite good. But at the same time, I still love the 777 for its like absurdly powerful speed and power and stuff. People are saying the 777X is the most powerful aircraft in the world, and they're actually wrong. The actual most powerful aircraft in the world is actually this very aircraft we're in, not the specific livery, but the aircraft itself. Because this thing has, the GE9X only produces from certified thrust about 110,000 pounds of thrust, or 109,000 pounds of thrust. Two GE9X engines, both together, produce 209,000 pounds of thrust. One GE90-115B engine produces around, I'd say, like 115,000 pounds of thrust. So two GE90-115B engines produce 230,000 pounds of thrust. That's like 20,000 more pounds of thrust. So, yeah. Oh. That's how it works. Alright, so battery, IFEs, and we're gonna get that APU going. Yeah, the APU start time on this one is a bit longer. I don't know if that's how long it actually takes in real life, but I hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it takes a little bit shorter. ADIRUs. So yeah, still no autopilot yet. So what we're actually going to do now is we're going to request ground power. So I'm going to go for a single GPU plug and primary external power. Yeah, so now we have power to the aircraft. Autopilot just came online. And so now, while we wait for the APU to start up, actually, I don't know, does 2 ground powers make this things boot up faster or no? I'm not sure. Well, either way, we're going to, actually fuel this plane up quite a bit. So what we're going to do is put short range, return, menu, FMC, or not. So now I just have to wait for this thing to boot up. And this is the outside of our aircraft. That APU intake is way tinier than the A350s. No wonder it takes a bit longer. So now we're going to check, and yes, the APU has fully started up now. So go and release the ground power. Select FMC, position, GPS, and I'm just gonna go for a short route. Oh, standby instruments online. Short route, KLHM. And we're gonna go to KSMF. Now the reason I didn't start at San Francisco is actually because that place lags this thing like a ton. So I only go there with like fighters and stuff. The only time I go there with an airliner is if it was like my final destination on the flight, so yeah. Oh, screens are booted up finally. Standby screen is on. Oh, yes, the whole airplane's come to life now. And so now we're going to select runway 33. We're going to select our flight number as DAL 1541, I guess. And activate, execute, bam. That should just give us our route. And menu, FMC, and go back to the index and ident. There we go. Actually, no. I'm gonna save this. Save 300 for another dime. Alright, so we can now go ahead and set our heading, I guess, to (197). And altitude, we can set that to 2000. So that's that. And now we can also probably go for engine start, so yeah, set the flaps to 15. Yep. And we have spinnaker. Yes, we do. We have spinnaker in the engines. So that's good. Set those to run. Cockpit door closed. It's my private jet anyway, so. And let's see here. Just going to set the parking brake. And once the engines are online, are fully ready to go, then what I'll do is I'll shut down the APU, go ahead and arm all the doors. Now what we can do is we can, I think, probably pressurize the cabin, probably. Auto. Okay, so now that's all set up, we can kill the APU, and now we can also go ahead and start our taxi. So I'm going to release the parking brake, and chocks are not set, so can just go achieve that, and let's go. Yeah, this aircraft is definitely way bigger than the A350. So MSFS does have a bit smoother of taxiing. Once again, we can also open and close the windows. In Flight Gear, we could not do that. The only plane I believe we can do that in, besides the 707, in Flight Gear, I believe, is the 757, and that's pretty much it. And this thing by far means is like what I consider the butter machine. Swiss 001 can consider the A330 the butter machine, but for me, I consider the 777-300ER my butter machine. Cause I test flew this aircraft last night when I actually first got it. Let's just say this thing is overpowered. So yeah, and what I mean by that is like what I was talking about earlier with the rear wheel steering. You can actually see right there the wheels themselves actually on the back moving. Well, these textures kind of look wrong. I don't know if that's supposed to, like, or that's just sunlight. I think they may have colored that one black. I think they may have colored these ones black and forgot to add that color. Like maybe like another livery or something. But anyway, let's go ahead and now go full power into the engines. And so now what we'll do after we finish this is I'm actually going to open YouTube and compare these sounds to real 777 sounds. And let's see. Yeah, we can already rotate. So Flight Gear 777 has a bit of a shorter takeoff. I'll give it that. But this 777 is actually probably full flaps. Probably gonna do absurdly good, even at landing too. So now we're gonna go on Army Auto Throttle, turn that on, and turn Autopilot on too. And LNAV is turning on. I'll just use VNAV, I guess. You'll be okay, 777. You'll be okay, 777. I don't think, okay, no, I don't think it's getting the memo. We're gonna go ahead and set that to that. So these are the window views I have. We have first class in here, engine view in first class, wing view, business or economy. I don't know, remember. I think this is yeah, it's probably economy, premium economy. And very, very back view of economy. I think the business class seats are actually, yeah, those are the business class seats right there. So, yeah. So, that being said, this thing still doesn't want to frickin' engage the LNAV. Why doesn't it want to engage the LNAV? If anyone knows how to use LNAV, please tell me. That would be super good for the flights I have. Okay, still going good, going good. FMC message. No active route. Dude, I have an active route. Wait, what? What? Oh. Direct. Now what happens if we activate lateral navigation? Now that should do it. If I'm correct, that should probably get us to SAC. I've just been circling Lincoln for a bit anyway, so. In the meantime, some of you have been wanting to. I know some of you, let's just say, have been wanting to see a few like a few more like content ideas. Like maybe you've been giving me content ideas, so like maybe for example plane spotting. So what I thought would be a good idea, since my family is heading to Pismo this weekend, and yes, I will hate the 5-hour drive there, but what I was thinking was, on the way back home, what I can try and see if they can do is just like, what I'm thinking is, take me to San Francisco International, and we can probably go plane spotting there. So what I'm thinking we do is, when I want to go plane spotting or something, I just go to San Francisco and then just do plane spotting there. So I know like lots of big jumbos land there. I think a few A380s land there too, yeah. And yes, there you have it, Sacramento right there. Yeah, for some reason Sacramento doesn't get wide bodies. This airport can take an A380 perfectly. Sure, it'll use most of the runway, but doesn't the Hawaiian A330 that lands here use most of the runway too? Its reverse thrust method is kind of outdated right now, anyway, so. Yeah. And I need to get myself a 777 MCDU. Yeah, I don't know what people are saying about calling this plane old. It's not old. This plane is actually kind of still new. It looks. Yeah, it looks to be still new. So, I don't know why they're calling it old. If I'm being honest, they should just keep flying this thing until like it becomes no longer affordable. And if I'm being for real, they should honestly just take the thing. If they have a retired one that they're gonna scrap, I'd happily buy it for like $1, like they did with that one I think Italian Air Force A340. So now what we can actually do, enough about that. What it's actually time to do now is land. So I'm gonna disconnect the auto throttle, kill the flight director, and kill the autopilot. So what I'm now gonna do is do that. Okay, I'm gonna slow it down. So that was our arrival runway. And getting a bit framey. Starting to get a bit framey, that's okay. Oh no. You gotta be joking. Shut up. Okay, there's not really any time left. So in this case, worst case happened. which means well, that was at least a successful go around. Okay, now this video is just starting to become over an hour. Now I'm starting to get triggered. I'm gonna throttle back all the way to idle. Yeah, I know my airspeed's low. Why is that? Oh, there we go. Okay, so there's the airport right there. Starting to feel a bit more heavier. We're gonna drop the gear. And gear's going down. And gear's confirmed down. So speed is currently 185. I really do not want this video to be over an hour long. So this one is handling a bit more heavier. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna try and crab it. Yeah, what I'm gonna do is try and crab the thing onto the runway. I know it's like a trash approach, but it still works. Yeah. Mostly a butter. I'm gonna ease off on the brake so we can actually still taxi. So now what we're gonna do is actually test the thing, takeoff performance at full flaps. So let's do this. And go. Holy crap! Why is it set to like 66 upward? All right. We can already actually rotate. Yeah. Like I said, this thing is a beast at takeoff and landing. This thing is a literal monster. So now what we're gonna try and do is actually, we're gonna go ahead and try and land it. See how fast we can get the thing down off of a butter landing. Because I wonder if this thing is able to do a quick butter landing and then stop with max braking. But, well, there's only one way to find out, so let's do it. Okay, that was not a butter, but it still works. Yeah, this thing is a monster. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Delta Mach out. Peace, chat.